My new work has been released. Welcome everyone to read my work in tomato novel. I hope everyone can enjoy it. Your attention is the driving force behind my writing, and I will strive to tell every story well. The modern female doctor accidentally traveled to ancient times and felt something was wrong when she first arrived. There were always people who wanted to assassinate her, but she didn't know the reason. Beiyingchuan, where did I offend you? Can you let me go? Beiyingchuan's evil charm smiled and said, let you go. It's not impossible. So Su Qing was forced to become a traitor in order to survive in ancient times. Chapter 1. Accidental Crossing. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Bang! Accompanied by an explosion, Su Qing's eyes turned black, and her body was instantly blown away by the huge heat wave. It's not good, it's blown up, help people, help people. Su Qing was in a daze, listening to the noisy sounds in her ear. She tried to open her eyes hard, but couldn't do it. Her eyes were blurry, her chest was sore, and her whole body seemed to be cut open, numb to the point of losing consciousness. Pain. Why hasn't the ambulance from 120 arrived yet? Su Qing's mind was already struggling, completely ignoring the strange attire of the people surrounding her, eagerly anticipating an ambulance. Pop. A mouthful of blood spat out, and this time, Su Qing finally didn't have to feel the piercing pain anymore. She completely fainted. Su Qing was awakened by pain. When she opened her eyes, she didn't see the white wall, only the hanging bed curtain. Looking at the completely unfamiliar room, Su Qing felt a bit confused. Where is this? Who is she again? Su Qing was born into a family of traditional Chinese medicine and was exposed to it from a young age. He studied traditional Chinese medicine with his grandfather and particularly enjoyed researching various prescriptions. Later, he went to the beautiful country for 5 years of further study, learning to develop Western medicine. Not long after returning to China, I was developing a new drug in the laboratory. While preparing it, for some reason, I suddenly felt dizzy and took the wrong medication, resulting in an explosion. Did you travel by yourself? Although Su Qing didn't believe in evil, the scene before her still made her have to believe it. Is there no person? Su Qing opened her mouth and realized that her throat was so hoarse that she had no choice but to stand up on her own. Unexpectedly, the wound on her body was involved, causing her to hiss in pain. Ah, the young master has woken up. I'll go tell the old lady now, said a woman in blue and ran away. Young master. Did you experience transgender? Young master, you have woken up and scared the servant to death. A woman wearing pink clothes stood on the side and cried. Am I a man? Su Qing pointed to herself and asked. Young master, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me, young master. The woman turned pale in shock. I'm fine, I just want to drink water. Su Qing stopped asking, afraid of scaring the girl. Yes, young master, I'll go pour water now. The girl rudely wiped away her tears and lifted her leg before running away. Su Qing looked at the figure behind her and suddenly a name popped out of her mind. Jean. Before Su Qing could think much, the little girl ran back and thoughtfully took a spoon, feeding Su Qing one spoonful at a time. Su Qing was too thirsty and quickly drank a glass of water, which made her feel more comfortable. You have been in a coma for 3 days. You can't drink too much. You must be hungry. I will ask someone to bring you congee. The girl put down her cup and ran out again. At this moment, only a sound of footsteps could be heard outside the room, and soon a group of people came in. Jiulong, you've woken up, you're scared to death. The glamorous noblewoman took Su Qing's hand, her face full of concern. Seeing that Su Qing had no reaction, she covered her face and cried, while the fierce man standing on the side also looked at Su Qing with a worried expression. Mother. Suddenly, a word popped out of Su Qing's mind, and the person in front of her should be the mother of the original owner. Jihua, hurry up and bring Dr. Zhang over and tell him that Zhoulang is awake. The man looked at Su Qing's silly expression and quickly dismissed the little girl following behind. Yes, sir, I'm going to invite you now. The woman ran away with her skirt in hand. The man kicked the others out again, leaving only the man and woman in the room. The woman still held Su Qing's hand and cried. It's all your fault. If it weren't for your insistence on a hereditary general's position and your insistence on Zhoulang dressing up as a man, why should my Jior suffer such a crime? It's all your fault, Wu Wu. If my Jior has any ups and downs, I'll fight with you. Oh, madam, this is the end of the matter. If I had known today, I would have resigned from my position and returned home. In front of Zhoulang, what's the use of saying these things? Now Zhoulang is awake, isn't he? The man looked sad and helpless. Su Qing looked at everything in front of her foolishly, completely certain that she had traveled through time and even traveled to a woman disguised as a man. Well, dressing up as a man is not just good for women. Dr. Zhang is here. With the report from the servant at the door opened. Both of them closed their mouths, the woman wiped her tears, sat upright, caressed Su Qing's forehead, and the man welcomed her out. An old man with a long beard walked in from outside and said, I heard Xiao Jiu woke up. Yeah, could you please take a look again, cousin? Zhoulang's health has been poor since childhood. This explosion almost killed Zhoulang, and now Zhoulang looks very uncomfortable. Well, let me see. If you can wake up, there's no danger to your life, the old man said as he walked over. The little medicine boy behind him put down the medicine box and retreated out. Cousin, hurry up and take a look. Zhoulang seems to be in pain right now, the woman wiped her tears and said. Oh, it turned out to be relatives. Su Qing was relieved. Didn't she say that women dress up as men before? If I were to check the pulse, wouldn't I just wear a shirt? Cousin, it's not that I'm talking about you. Back then, I said not to let Jior dress up as a hereditary general. A girl, you put so much pressure on her, and this child needs to be strong. It will take her life sooner or later. Sigh. The old man sighed and came over to pulse Su Qing. Su Qing was very cooperative and extended her hand. After a long time, the old man finally finished his pulse, furrowed his brows, and didn't say anything. He just walked up to the table and started writing. Zhoulang's fate is great, but he has been injured to a critical point and needs to be taken good care of. This time it's okay, but I can't always be so lucky. I prescribed a new prescription and took it. I will come back in a few days, and the Empress Dowager's side hasn't stopped these days. I still need to go to the palace later. If you have something to do, go find me in the palace. The old man handed the prescription to the woman, and the man escorted the old man out. The woman called for a maid and asked someone to quickly take medicine. After everyone had left, the woman sat next to Su Qing's bed and looked at her with tears in her eyes. Jior, I'm sorry for you. It's all my fault for listening to your father's words and insisting on something hereditary that harmed my Jior. I'm fine, I have a headache, and I still want to sleep. Su Qing didn't know how to face the woman's concern, just wanted to calm down and think carefully. Seeing Su Qing's tired face, the woman stopped nagging and gave a few words of advice before leaving. Chapter 2. Discovering the Golden Finger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, memories of the original owner kept flooding Su Qing's mind. This is a country called Dongsheng, and the original owner was also named Su Qing, with the courtesy name Zijin. Because he ranked 9th, he was also called Zhoulang. The father of the original owner, also known as the man who came in before, was the general of Dongsheng. Due to his outstanding military achievements, the emperor authorized the legitimate son of the Su family to inherit the position of general. But Su's mother gave birth to 4 daughters in a row, even the concubines gave birth to daughters. Even worse, General Su was injured in a battlefield and could no longer have children. Just when General Su was feeling disheartened, news came that Su's mother was pregnant. General Su thought that God had eyes and gave him a son. Who would have thought that God wouldn't give face, he was still a daughter. So General Su's morale skyrocketed, and he publicly declared that he had a son. The hereditary general was also personally enfeoffed by the emperor, and for so many years, Su Qing has been raised as a son. This Su Qing is a genius, and in modern times, he is a reliable academic powerhouse. At the age of 3, he is proficient in literature, and at the age of 4, he is skilled in poetry, music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Unfortunately, Su Qing has been weak and sickly since childhood. Due to physical reasons, Su Qing was unable to practice martial arts, but also had to shoulder the title of a general. Therefore, she worked very hard from a young age and had achievements in various fields. Although she could not practice martial arts, she was proficient in military tactics and was also skilled in strange and skillful grid objects. The weapons she designed played a great role in the battlefield, making countries very wary. So even if she doesn't know how to fight, she can still bear the name of a general. In addition, due to poor health and the inability to have people feel their pulse casually, I became a disciple of Dr. Zhang and learned medical skills from a young age. I treated myself and prescribed medicine. This is truly an all-around talent. Even if modern Su Qing is a top student, he cannot help but admire the original owner. However, if he works hard like this, he will be exhausted to death. At this moment, Su Qing dare not think much. She will gradually understand this world. Since she has crossed over and occupied the body of the original owner, she will also shoulder the mission of the original owner. What only gave Su Qing a headache was the dilapidated body of the original owner. The old man before was the master of the original owner. He must have noticed her health deficit long ago, but he didn't mention it. Although he wasn't a professional doctor, he came from a family of traditional Chinese medicine. If he hadn't switched to pharmacy midway, he might have been able to graduate now. So, as soon as she put it on, Su Qing noticed that the inside of this body had already been hollowed out. How weak this body is, Su Qing knows that even with proper care, this body may not live long. She has already died once, and she doesn't want to die young again. The original owner, Beiyingchuan, was intelligent and proficient in pharmacology. Perhaps she knew she couldn't live long, was overthinking and under too much pressure. She was already 17 years old, and her menstrual cycle had not yet begun. Her breasts had not grown, so she didn't need to cover them up when she put on clothes. She couldn't even tell that she was a woman. Although Su Qing does not love beauty, as a woman, she is not allowed to waste her body like this. Even if she cannot achieve convexity, at least she should have what a woman should have. In the future, she will try to escape death, change her face, and become a woman again. Thinking of these, Su Qing gave a bitter smile. It's probably not easy to recuperate just because of the original owner's tattered body. Su Qing lay in a daze for 2 days before finally regaining some energy. She asked someone to take a mirror and wanted to see what she looked like. No surprise, it's basically the same as my modern self, but thinner, pale, with larger eyes and a sickly weakness. Su Qing felt something was wrong with the injuries on her body as she felt her pulse 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 pulse. Moreover, the explosion point was ahead, but it seemed as if one had been severely hit on the back. It's just that Su Qing couldn't remember what exactly happened at that time. She just felt that the injury on her body was not right. In the dark night, a man in black looked at Su Qing from a distance, who was already able to walk, and quickly disappeared into the darkness. She didn't die. The man's hoarse voice didn't rise or fall, and his handsome face had no expression, but it made the black-clothed man kneeling in front of him shudder. I don't know why, but I did hit Su Qing at that time and it has been confirmed. Su Qing was out of breath at that time, but I don't know why. When people rushed over, people came back to life. I deserve to die. You're really damn it. Go to the shadow to get punished. I don't want to see you here. Yes, I'm leaving. The man in black stood up and quickly exited the room. And the man inside hid himself in the darkness, tapping his fingers lightly on the table. This seat. Yes, he is the national teacher of Beiyingchuan, under the command of Dongsheng and above 10,000 people. However, his identity is not just that of a national teacher, but he also has another unknown identity. However, just a few days ago, he was overheard by Su Qing by chance, which is why he wanted to silence it. It's just a matter of 10 guards, but they accidentally made a mistake. Su Qing, I remember you, the man's mouth curved coldly. At this moment, a person walked out of the inner room. Big brother, Su Qing didn't die. So you. It's okay, since he's awake and hasn't said anything, I won't give him a chance to speak. The man stopped talking and silently walked out of the room, disappearing into the darkness. After several days of recuperation from Su Qing's injury, she finally improved and was able to sit up. Her face also turned red. But I always feel a pair of eyes staring at me, even if I stay in the room, I feel chilly. Cough. With a severe cough, Su Qing lowered her head and saw that she had coughed up blood, which happened to splash onto the jade bracelet in her hand. A beam of white light appeared and quickly disappeared. This jade bracelet was worn by the original owner when he was young, but unfortunately, the modern Su Qing also has an identical jade bracelet. Is this the past and present life? Without much thought, Su Qing gently wiped the bloodstain with her hand, but suddenly felt dizzy and appeared in her laboratory. It was a bit messy inside, filled with a smell of medicine and traces of explosion, but fortunately the dosage was small at the time and the instrument was not damaged, only a few beakers were blown up. Su Qing was happy, looking at the rows of exquisite instruments and various medicines, she was finally not so afraid. Pushing open the door of the laboratory, I returned to my own room. Looking at the jade pendant in her hand, Su Qing thought to herself that perhaps it was an experiment explosion, and her blood splattered onto the jade bracelet. At the same time, the original owner was also killed by the explosion, and the blood splattered onto the jade bracelet. Only then did their souls exchange. Perhaps in modern times, another Su Qing is still alive. Thinking of this possibility, Su Qing finally felt a lot of peace of mind, and modern parents would no longer be lonely. Chapter 3. Unexpected Visits. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Qing searched for anti-inflammatory drugs and painkillers in the laboratory, and also performed a chest scan for herself, confirming that her internal organs were injured. Fortunately, there was no rupture or major bleeding, otherwise she would have really lived a short time. The medical conditions in ancient times were not good. No matter how advanced the medical skills were, without medicine, it was impossible. At this time, there was no compendium of materia medica. There were only over 1,000 types of herbs here, and Su Qing's illness was a dead end. Fortunately, she came, and her laboratory also came. Young master, have you woken up? The servant has come in. The voice of the kindred friend rang outside. Come on in, I didn't sleep. Su Qing came here and saw two maids, Jean and Jihua, the most. Su's father and mother often came to visit, but their relationship was not close. Young master, it's time to take the medicine. At this moment, Jihua walked in carrying the medicine and didn't notice anything wrong. Looking at the medicine in Jihua's hand, Su Qing's stomach churned. What she was most worried about was the taste of the medicine. 3 times a day I will vomit even if I think about it. If it weren't for hating the taste of traditional Chinese medicine, she wouldn't have switched to pharmacy in the beginning. But Jean and Jihua, the 2 maids, kept staring at her every time she finished drinking, not leaving a single drop, and she felt the urge to die. She also knows that traditional Chinese medicine is the best way to nourish her body, but she really doesn't want to drink it anymore. Let it go, I'll have it later. No way, Madame said, I must watch the young master drink. On this point, Jean was very stubborn. Cough. Jean, go pour me a glass of water. Su Qing took the medicine, sent Jean away, and then poured the medicine out of the window with just one turn. Young master, drink some water. It's better to lie down and rest for a while. The doctor said that young master needs rest and cannot sit for long. Jihua poured water over and happily took the medicine bowl in Su Qing's hand, seeing it empty. Seeing that Su Qing's complexion had improved compared to before, Dr. Zhang's medical skills are indeed good. In just a few days, the young master's complexion has become much more rosy. Please rest well, young master. I will prepare a medicinal bath now. Dr. Zhang said that frequent soaking in medicinal baths is good for your health. Oh, by the way, young master, when you were asleep before, the Empress Dowager and the Emperor sent someone to ask, and the eldest prince also sent someone to come over. Okay, I got it. The current emperor, Nangong Yunting, is only in his 40s, in the prime of his life. The empress passed away early and did not leave a prince. His descendants were not many, and the only adult princes were the eldest, 3rd, and 4th princes, but they were disabled and unable to walk, so they did not appoint a crown prince. The 4th prince is not good at behavior and has always been raised in the palace. The mother of the 3rd prince comes from a humble background and is not valued by the emperor. Therefore, the 3rd prince has always been low-key in his actions. Although his mother passed away early, the eldest prince has always been raised by the Empress Dowager and has undergone military training, which is highly valued by the southern palace's Yunting. The original owner did not enjoy political struggles, so he had very little interaction with the princes. In theory, the nature of the original owner cannot offend anyone. I didn't stand in line either, there shouldn't be anyone trying to harm me. Su Qing was pondering, but suddenly felt a chill all over his body, as if he was being targeted by a hungry wolf. Jean, when you come back, I have something to ask you. Su Qing called Jean back again. Young master, what's wrong? Jean still held a bowl. I was blown up like this before, and my mind suddenly became a bit unclear. Can you help me recall memories? Have I ever offended anyone before? The young master is a top-notch person. Whether in court or in the mansion, the young master has always been cautious and has never offended anyone. How could the young master think so? His head. Jean began to tense up. Oh, it's not a big deal. I just received some stimulation. Just take care of myself. Just ask me, you go ahead. Su Qing dismissed her confidant and began to think. The injury on her body was not caused by an explosion, but by a surprise attack from behind. The original owner's health was not good, so she died under the heavy blow. But according to the original owner's memory, the original owner should not offend anyone. How could anyone harm themselves? Being so secretive is not a last-minute attempt, but a planned assassination. At the thought of assassination, Su Qing shuddered. She had watched many martial arts TV dramas and didn't feel secure wearing them here. Fortunately, the security guards at the Su mansion. No, there were many guards. Time flies quickly. It has been a month since Su Qing arrived here. Although her health is not very good, she can run and jump now. However, she has always suspected that someone has assassinated her, so she has been staying in the mansion feign illness. During this period, Su Qing also gained a new understanding of the world. This era was not seen by Su Qing in history books, but it is not considered a fictional era. History began to change during the Tang dynasty, when Empress Wu Zetian began. According to historical records, after the death of Emperor Wu, Li Longji succeeded to the throne and returned the land to the Li family. However, according to historical records here, Empress Wu passed on the throne to another man surnamed Wu. However, later, due to the chaos in the harem and civil uprisings, the Wu family's territory was divided, and from then on, the Great Zhou established by Emperor Wu was divided into 3 countries: Dongsheng, Nanjiao, and Xichang. To the east of Dongsheng lies the sea, located in a central position. To the south is Nanjiao, to the west is Xichang, and to the north are Mongolia and Khitan. Due to the prosperous foundation laid by the Tang dynasty, Dongsheng is the most powerful and prosperous among several countries. Young Master, Lord Guosher and Lord Shaojun of Luofu have come to visit you. Jin ran over in panic, with a worried expression on her face. National Teacher. Little County Lord. Su Qing's mind began to recall, oh. Su Qing suddenly realized. It is rumored that Dongsheng had 4 beautiful men, the first being the 7th younger brother of the emperor, Yunwang Nangong Yunzi, the second being the national teacher Beiyingchuan, the third being the legitimate eldest son of the Luo family at Xingdu Academy, Luo Shuyu, and the fourth being the original owner Su Qing. Su Qing had little impression of Nangong Yunzi and Beiyingchuan in her mind. The original owner was usually very low-key, and both of them had valuable identities, so they had almost no intersection. And Luo Shuyu and Su Qing have an impression. The Luo family is a scholarly family, with the Xingdu Academy founded by their ancestors, famous throughout the world. After several dynasties, the current imperial teacher is Luo Shuyu's father. In my memory, Luo Shuyu was thin, with a picturesque appearance and gentle eyes. He was always dressed in white clothes, as warm as a spring breeze. However, such a talented man had the same experience as Su Qing. From a small and weak body with many illnesses, the imperial physician had no choice but to take care of him. Even though he was full of knowledge, he could only work in the imperial academy. Perhaps they share the same illness, or perhaps their social status is similar, so the relationship between the original owner and Luo Shuyu is good. The original owner also studied at Xingdu Academy when he was young. If we count them, they can also be considered childhood sweethearts. I don't know why, but when Su Qing thought of Luo Shuyu, her heart inexplicably trembled, probably because the original owner had different feelings for Luo Shuyu. As for the second young master, Luo Shuhan, was the legitimate younger brother of Luo Shuyu and had not much interaction with Su Qing. Luo Shuhan is skilled in martial arts. Occasionally, the original owner and Luo Shuyu attend poetry meetings, and Luo Shuhan also goes with them. They are also considered familiar. In this era, poetry are still prevalent. But why did these 2 people, who have no connection with Su Qing, suddenly come to your door today? Chapter 4. Bullying people too much. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 5. Suspecting Identity. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Su Qing was completely guilty, her face blushed with embarrassment in an instant. She immediately opened her eyes wide and angrily broke free from Beiyingchuan's hand. Cough, 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 cough was another intense cough, not just pretending, but angry. Beiyingchuan's hand was thrown away, but the smoothness on his hand remained. Beiyingchuan felt uneasy for a moment, but he immediately adjusted. His thick skin automatically ignored the embarrassment and joked, Zijin's hand is like a woman's hand. You're not just a daughter, are you? Master Gua, you're also so good-looking, aren't you also a woman? Su Qing sarcastically looked at Beiyingchuan. Ha ha ha, second young master, you see, Zijin is still so eloquent and doesn't suffer any losses. It seems that his illness has indeed improved a lot. Beiyingchuan was not angry, but burst into laughter and walked back to the table to sit down. Although he walked calmly, his hands behind him felt a bit itchy. Ha, ha. The second young master looked awkwardly at this scene, muttering, ha, and bowing his head not to look at them. But I thought to myself that Su Qing's courage was too great. Who is Beiyingchuan? He is a popular figure by the emperor's side, he can kill anyone he wants. Su Qing dares to stare at him. It's over, it's over. I need to tell my elder brother to stay away from Su Qing as he's going to be unlucky. Young master, it's time to take the medicine. At this moment, Jihua walked in carrying the medicine. I don't. Su Qing was about to say she didn't want to drink, but when she saw the two people sitting on the side, she swallowed the words on her lips and took the medicine. She had to rest, which was to see off the guests. Beiyingchuan should have left with a knowing heart. Thinking of this, Su Qing asked Jihua to bring the medicine in and glanced at Beiyingchuan. Second young master understood, but when he turned to look at Beiyingchuan, he seemed to have no intention of leaving, so he decisively shut his mouth again. Beiyingchuan looked at Su Qing with a smile on his face. Humph, Su Qingling snorted and looked at the medicine in her hand, wanting to take a sip, but instinctively her stomach churned, and she struggled not to spit it out. I have been drinking Chinese medicine here for a month now, and every time it feels like being sentenced to death. In fact, Su Qing is not unable to drink Chinese medicine, it's just that the original owner's body reaction is too strong for her to control. Jihua, I'll have a drink later. I'm tired, both of you. Without leaving, she had no choice but to rush someone directly. Zijin is tired, Second young master stood up, and before he could finish speaking, Beiyingchuan had already stood up. Su Qing was very happy and thought to herself that she had finally left. Before he could be happy for a second, Beiyingchuan had already walked up to Su Qing. If this medicine gets cold, it will be even harder to drink. Let's wait until you finish drinking it before leaving. Zijin is not afraid to drink the medicine and is worried about being seen by us. Let's laugh at you. Who's afraid of taking medicine? Su Qing gritted her teeth and looked at the black medicine in front of her, feeling nauseous again. However, looking at Beiyingchuan in front of her, she closed her eyes and forced her scalp to take a sip. Cough cough, cough cough. Su Qing choked too quickly before coughing again. Look, drinking medicine is so delicate, not even a woman. Beiyingchuan kindly stepped forward to help Su Qing pat her back, which startled the second young master on one side. What's wrong with today's national teacher? Will he be silenced if he does something puzzling? No need. I dare not trouble my master. I'm fine. Su Qing coughed for a while, finally calming down. However, she coughed so hard just now, tears streaming down her face, and her breath panting slightly. The already flushed little face, paired with a pair of watery big eyes, has some messy hair stuck to the cheeks with sweat, giving a sense of being abused and broken, making people unable to help but feel pity. Beiyingchuan's heart suddenly pounded a few times, and he forgot to react as he watched Su Qing. Su Qing only focused on her uncomfortable stomach and didn't notice Beiyingchuan's reaction. She blinked her eyes hard, tears hanging from her long eyelashes, crystal clear, and a drop of medicine dripping from the corner of her mouth, making her want to wipe it off. Beiyingchuan's heart was pounding wildly, but fortunately his composure was strong enough. Before Su Qing realized something was wrong, he returned to normal and quickly took a step back. Don't disturb Zijin's rest, let's take a step first. Before Su Qing could react, Beiyingchuan had already turned around and left, leaving Luo Shuhan on one side dumbfounded. He arched his hand at Su Qing and followed him. In just a few seconds, the room instantly became clean. Looking at the still shaking door, Su Qing was dumbfounded. What exactly did this Beiying River do? Does he doubt his identity? That's right, Beiyingchuan suspects Su Qing's identity. Beiyingchuan sat in the darkness, looking at his hands, always feeling a soft sensation on them. Thinking of Su Qing's tearful eyes just now, Beiyingchuan's heart couldn't help but beat wildly. Someone. Beiyingchuan pressed down his abnormal heartbeat with his hand. Sir, a black figure flashed by and knelt on the ground. What have you found recently while keeping an eye on Su Qing? Sir, according to the report from the 7th Guard, there are no abnormalities over there. Su Qing basically doesn't leave the room, at most he walks around the yard, but Su Mansion has added many guards. Do you still know how to add guards? Huh, Beiyingchuan sneered. Not really stupid. Nothing unusual. Beiyingchuan pondered. Normally, Su Qing knew the secret and should have taken action, but it had been so long and Su Qing seemed to have forgotten about it. But according to Su Qing's nature, it is impossible unless he has other plans. Su Qing should be 18 years old. Does he still have an unmarried sister? Reply to your excellency, Su Qing has just turned 17 years old this year, and Su Qing has an illegitimate 7th daughter who has not yet married. So. Beiyingchuan turned his finger and pondered, at the age of 17, it's time to get married. Let someone give advice to the Empress Dowager, and Princess Linglong is not young anymore. Let them get married. Aren't Mongolia wanting to get married these days? Let the Empress Dowager recognize Miss 7 of the Su family and soon represent the royal family to go to Mongolia for a marriage. Ah. The man in black hesitated for a moment, but immediately agreed. Yes, I'll go handle it right away. The man in black finished speaking and with a gentle movement, he disappeared. Su Qing, I want to see how you handle this time. Beiyingchuan's evil charm smiled, and the jade ring in his hand became even brighter. Su Qing here, due to daytime events, thought for a whole night but couldn't come up with a solution. Beiyingchuan's attitude was strange, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong. Forget it, let's take a closer look. She is very busy now, and the longer she stays here, Su Qing has gained a deeper understanding of the original owner. At the same time, she has become more and more impressed by the original owner. This guy is not only at the academic level, but in modern times, even 10 of them feel inferior. Taking advantage of these days of recuperation, she read Dongxing's history proficiently, searched through medical books, and even found the original owner's laboratory in the side room of the yard. It's not an exaggeration to say it's a laboratory. There are many things inside, besides many medicinal herbs and books, as well as many newly designed small weapons and materials for making gunpowder. The original owner fought hard to deserve the title of general, but due to poor health, he developed in various fields, which Su Qing couldn't help but admire. In order to quickly take care of his body, Su Qing drew many pictures of herbs and sent people to search for them on the mountain. There were doctors in the general's mansion who were all sent out. Many Chinese herbs are very common, but they have not been discovered yet, so it is not difficult to find those herbs. Su Qing would hide in the laboratory to study them when he had time. Young master, the young master of the Shangshu mansion handed over the petition, and the Zhang mansion of the Ministry of Revenue also handed over the petition. Miss Lanshi also issued the invitation. Ji Yin saw that Su Qing was going to the laboratory again and quickly stopped to report back. Let's push it all, I still need to recuperate. Don't disturb me if you have nothing to do. Su Qing didn't listen carefully and casually waved her hand. Now she's really busy. She needs to prepare a strain of bacteria and develop a medicine to nourish her body as soon as possible, so she doesn't have to drink that bitter medicine soup. But young master. Jean was really speechless. This time, the young master woke up and seemed even busier than before. But how can his body handle it if this continues? You can do it as you please, don't tell me, I believe you. Su Qing turned around and went to the laboratory. Don't let anyone disturb me. After saying that, Su Qing closed the door. Chapter 6. Go to Qingfeng Tower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Qing's busy schedule lasted for another half-month. After careful recuperation, he finally improved a lot. However, the original owner's body was severely damaged, coupled with too much diligence and heavy thinking. Even if it weren't for this explosion, the original owner wouldn't have lived for a few years. Even if Su Qing had exhausted all his resources, this body wouldn't have been able to recover for 3 to 5 years. Stretching lazily, Su Qing walked out of the room, ache. Unexpectedly, he was shivering with cold as soon as he came out. Unconsciously, it's already early autumn. Young master, it's getting cold. Put some on and I'll have Jihua boil some medicine for you. Jin kindly brought Su Qing a thick cloak. No need, you can't take medicine easily. It's 3 parts poisonous. Su Qing waved her hand and looked at the withered flowers and plants in the yard. She wrapped her cloak tightly. It's already autumn so soon. Ding! A sound of Qin came from outside the courtyard wall. Who is playing the piano? Oh, it's Miss Seven. The Empress Dowager's birthday is coming soon, and this time Miss Seven is being granted permission to enter the palace. She is preparing for the program. Sister Seven. Who granted her permission to enter the palace? This matter is very strange, because Miss Seven is a commoner from the Su family, and there is no such rule here to allow a commoner woman to enter the palace. Su Qing's mother gave birth to a total of 5 children, and 3 aunts also gave birth to 4 children. However, the medical system here is not well developed, and even the children in the general's mansion cannot grow up smoothly. Only Su Qing's eldest sister, second sister, fourth sister, fifth sister, and seventh sister grew up smoothly. Big sister, second sister, and fifth sister are the legitimate sisters of Su Qing, and there was a difference between legitimate and illegitimate in ancient times. Su Qing's eldest sister, as the legitimate eldest daughter of the general's mansion, was granted a concubine by the emperor at that time. However, she died inexplicably before giving birth to a prince. Her second sister married the martial arts champion of that year and later went to the border with her husband's family. Her fourth and fifth sisters also got married, although she was not a wealthy family, she still lived a good life. This Miss Seven is only 2 years older than Su Qing. In my memory, Sister Seven is very introverted, doesn't like to talk, and rarely shows up, so she has never married. This time, on the Empress Dowager's birthday, she suddenly let an unknown illegitimate woman into the palace. What is this? Jin saw Su Qing's doubts and said, I don't know why. I heard that this time the Empress Dowager specifically called for the master to bring Miss Seven over. Miss Seven was very happy in specially cut new clothes, often practicing the piano in the yard. The Empress Dowager's roll call. This is even more strange. How could the Empress Dowager remember such a small illegitimate woman from the Su family? There must be something going on. During my absence from court, what has happened to court? It seems not, but I heard that the Empress Dowager's birthday is highly valued by the emperor. Mongolia has specially sent the Grand Prince and the 8th Prince to congratulate her. Su Qing didn't speak. Although she wasn't from here, she had memories of the original owner, and with the history books she had read during this period, she still had some understanding of the world. The Empress Dowager allowed Sister Seven to enter the palace, which was unusual, but now she doesn't know what will happen, so she can only adapt according to the situation. Young Master, Miss Lanqi has already sent several posts. At this moment, Jihua walked over with a post in his hand. Miss Lanqi. After some thought, Su Qing realized that there was indeed such a Lanqi girl who was the leader of the largest Qingfeng tower in Kyoto. She could be considered the original owner blue-faced confidant. Su Qing took the post and found an invitation letter on it. Su Qing remembered that whenever the original owner was tired, she would go to the Qingfeng tower to drink and chat with this Lanqi girl, listen to her playing the piano and singing, and occasionally compose music and lyrics for her. The two of them were considered close friends. This Qingfeng Tower is not simple, with a deep background. It is the largest elegant place in Kyoto, and there are often exotic beauties inside. Many literati and literati like to come here, chat with friends, and experience exotic customs. The original owner would often go there just to see Lan Shi, which is also easy to understand. Everyone has something to talk about. The original owner has been struggling in the officialdom these years, and has been walking on thin ice. His parents have no common language with him, nor have any close sisters. People who are more vicious need an outlet for release. I know now, I'll go to Miss Lanshi's place tonight, Su Qing sighed lightly. She felt a little sorry for the original owner. After so many years, she didn't even have a close friend, only Lanshi. Due to each other's identities, the original owner didn't dare to fully express their feelings. The autumn night was very cool, and Jean prepared a thick cushion for Su Qing and even brought a heavy cloak. Young master, don't catch a cold when you go out at night. Your body has improved a bit now. Miss Lanshi is really good. She knows that young master's health is not good, so she has to submit invitations time and time again. Jiyin complained while taking care of Su Qing's clothes. Well, it's just early autumn now. I can't go out in the cold anymore, and I'm not as delicate. Su Qing didn't mind, feeling a bit helpless towards the somewhat verbose confidant in front of her. The carriage arrived at Qingfeng Tower all the way, and the lights inside were already brightly lit. Qingfeng Tower was particularly lively at night, and usually the owner didn't like to come at night because it was too noisy. However, Su Qing felt unsafe during the day, so she chose to come quietly at night. As soon as we arrived at the door, the people from Qingfeng Tower had already come to greet us. Su Qing's carriage walked through the back door of Qingfeng Tower, which was only used by some special guests. There were already servants waiting at the entrance. The young general has arrived, but Miss Lanshi has been looking forward to you. Please. The servant greeted with a smile and led Su Qing to a large attic. Su Qing waved her hand and the servant left with great interest. Following her memory, Su Qing found Lan Shi's room and pushed the door in directly. Young master, you're here. Seeing no one, let's hear their voice first. Lan Shi, dressed in a blue dress, walked slowly towards Su Qing and bowed respectfully. Lan Shi, there's no need to be too polite between us. Su Qing scanned and looked at Lan Shi. She was indeed a beautiful woman with a charming charm and a seductive figure, exuding a poetic and scholarly aura. Her voice was sweet, and every frown and smile made people feel comfortable. She had the gentle and delicate demeanor of a beautiful woman from Jiangnan. At first glance, she was the kind of understanding girl. Su Qing recalled the way the original owner and Lan Shi got along, and gently supported them with her hand. Yes, young master, please come and sit down. Upon hearing that the young master was injured, I have been worried and afraid to visit. Now that the young master is doing well, I am very happy. Young master, please drink this glass to the fullest. Lan Shi saw Su Qing sit down and directly picked up the glass from the table, handing it to Su Qing. I've been taking medicine lately and it's not easy to drink alcohol. I also asked Lan Shi to drink this cup for me. Su Qing didn't answer. Lan Shi didn't hesitate either. She drank it all in one gulp before sitting down to serve Su Qing dishes. Su Qing had a bad appetite and just ate a little, feeling full. Zhilang is tired now. You go and rest. I will play the qin for Zhilang. Last time, Zhilang wrote a beautiful tune for me, but I haven't even offered it to Zhilang. Today, Zhilang is here, so I will allow you to personally soothe Zhilang. Okay, thank you for bothering Lan Shi. Su Qing was really tired and turned to Lan Shi's inner room, where there was a lounge chair specially prepared for Su Qing. Obviously, this kind of thing has happened more than once or twice. Chapter 7. Conflict, being looked down upon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lan Shi had someone remove the food and bring the qin in. Seeing Su Qing closing her eyes slightly, she shook her head and smiled. She took a blanket from the top and covered it with it. Thank you. Su Qing didn't open her eyes, but instinctively thanked, which greatly moved Lan Shi. Her eyes immediately turned red, but Su Qing didn't see it. Lan Shi stared at Su Qing for a while, calmed herself down, and walked over to the piano to start playing. Lan Shi's piano sound is very light and soft. Accompanied by the sound of Lan Shi's piano, Su Qing unconsciously fell asleep. Lan Shi walked up to Su Qing and looked at her sleeping face with a troubled expression, unsure of what she was thinking. Master Guo, Miss Lan Shi has a guest. Please make it convenient for you, Master Guo. Get out of here, where are we going? I need your permission. Bang, followed by a scream. What happened? The commotion at the door was too loud, and Su Qing was startled to wake up. Lan Shi also looked surprised. I'll go take a look, you stay inside. Su Qing stood up, threw the blanket on the chair, and walked out. He happened to see Beiyingchuan open the door and walk in, his eyes facing each other. National teacher. Su Qing didn't expect to meet Beiyingchuan here. It turns out that the little general is here. Beiyingchuan smiled meaningfully and didn't say much, nor was he surprised to see Su Qing here. Before Su Qing could speak, 3 more people walked in from outside, followed by a few attendants. The man walking in front was dressed in a white brocade robe, with high black hair and a face like a crown of jade. He had bright eyes and was not angry or arrogant. He was the eldest prince, Prince Chen of Nangong, and the other 2 were men wearing exotic attire. However, upon seeing the clothes, one could tell that their identity was not simple. Zijin is also here, are you doing well? Nangong Chen was surprised to see Su Qing. He had heard that Su Qing had a good relationship with Lan Shi from Qingfeng Tower and met here today. The rumors were indeed true. My lord, see you. Su Qing was about to bow when he was immediately lifted up by Nangong Chen. Zijin, there's no need to be polite. Today, I came quietly and my identity cannot be revealed. These 2 are the great prince of Mongolia and the 8th prince. I heard about the beautiful name of Lan Shi, a girl from Qingfeng Tower, and came here to meet her. Unexpectedly, I met Zijin. Su Qing glanced at the 2 Mongolian princes, each tall and powerful, and the sight made people tremble with fear. Su Qing pays his respects to the Grand Prince and the 8th prince. It turns out to be General Su, there's no need to be polite. The eldest prince politely raised his hand, but the 8th prince only glanced at Su Qing and snorted coldly, showing a very arrogant attitude. Coincidentally, Zijin is also here, so let's go together. I heard that Miss Lan Shi plays the piano very well, and her recent song, Flying Flowers Falling, is popular in Kyoto. The 2 princes came here in admiration, so let's ask Miss Lan Shi to play the piano for us. Prince Chen said very politely, which also gave Lan Shi face. Lan Shi walked out of the inner room and bowed Ying, see you all, adults. No gift, the crown prince said, lifting his legs. Several people entered the room and immediately someone served tea. Su Qing didn't want to stay, but the eldest prince invited her and she had to stay. Glancing at Lan Shi and seeing her calm and capable of handling things, Su Qing stopped thinking too much. Lan Shi smiled lightly, bowed to everyone, and then sat in front of the piano. With her bare hands lightly raised, the melodious sound of the piano came out, accompanied by a sweet singing. Su Qing could hear that this song was composed by the original owner for Lan Shi, and the lyrics were also filled in by the original owner. The song was quickly finished, and everyone was still immersed in it. Okay, this song is good, the lyrics are good, and the singing is even better, ha ha ha. The Mongolian prince first applauded. Dongsheng is indeed a talented person, and being able to write such a melodious piece of music shows his extraordinary talent. It's really good, the lyrics inside have a profound artistic conception. Miss Lan Shi, this piece really has a new meaning and deserves recognition. Prince Chen also thought it was good, but Beiyingchuan remained indifferent and calmly drank tea on the side. Gongzi Musen, this piece of music and lyrics are all written by Zhilang. General Su, I just played them out, I really don't deserve it. Lanshi stood up, bowed, and looked at Su Qing affectionately. Oh. It turned out to be General Su's masterpiece. I admire it, I admire it. The Grand Prince praised it. Humph, it's just something that pleases people and flatters people. If you don't have literati in Dongsheng, then there will be no more. A grand general doesn't know how to wield knives or swords, but can only write some sour and corrupt poetry. The eighth prince looked disdainful on one side. Eighth brother, shut up. General Su's talent is not just in poetry and poetry. The prince immediately spoke up to stop him. Others didn't know, but he knew that in recent years, Dongsheng had become so powerful not only because of the Yun King's leadership, but also because they used weapons that other countries couldn't match. Most of these weapons were from the seemingly weak General Su. Eighth Prince, is this the general who looks down on us Dongsheng? Nangong Chen's face was gloomy, indicating that he had looked up to the Mongolian king and sent such a brainless prince over. Your Highness, I have no intention of looking down on Dongsheng. It's just that I don't understand why someone like Su Qing should go to the Imperial Academy and become a general. Ahem. The eighth prince didn't look down on Dongsheng. Su Qing calmly looked at the eighth prince, taking a sip from a teacup in his hand, and said calmly, You are questioning the emperor's judgment. The name General Su was chosen by the emperor. You. I don't have one, said the eighth prince with a flushed face, but he didn't know how to defend himself. Nothing. I didn't question my emperor's ability to recognize people, or did I not look down upon this general? I have taken on the title of general, and naturally, I can also take on the position of general. General Su, my eighth brother Lu Meng, I apologize to General Su on his behalf. The prince glared fiercely at the eighth prince and arched his hand at Su Qing. Big brother, was I wrong? The men on our grassland are all brave and skilled in battle, and the generals are also powerful. How could there be such a weak general who has no strength to bind chickens and only knows how to write sour and rotten articles? Su Qing gave the eighth prince a cold glance without any annoyance. He just chuckled lightly, stood up, walked to Lan Shi's piano, gently waved the strings, and a melodious sound floated out. Has the eighth prince never heard a word? Su Qing didn't get angry, but slowly said, Life is not just about the present, but also about poetry in distant places. Otherwise, how could you have come here today? We're just here for leisure, said the eighth prince in defiance. Eighth brother, we are here today to appreciate Miss Lanshi's music. Let's not say anything else and apologize to General Su soon. The Grand Prince looked displeased, knowing that if he continued, they would not benefit and might even offend Prince Chen and the national teacher. General Su, I have offended you. The eighth prince saw that his elder brother was angry, so he had to bow his hand. No need, I didn't take it to heart, Su Qing smiled. He didn't really take it to heart, just turned around and met the gaze cast by Beiyingchuan. Su Qing's eyebrows furrowed slightly, and Beiyingchuan's expression was unclear to her. Chapter 8. Peers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Beiyingchuan actually didn't quite understand what he was thinking. Just now, after listening to Su Qing's words, he felt that Su Qing in front of him was different from before. He was completely different from before, and his gaze unconsciously followed Su Qing. Since the last time he came back from Su Qing, Beiyingchuan has felt sick and occasionally thinks of Su Qing's frailty. However, whenever he thinks of Su Qing, his hands itch and he always feels that soft and smooth feeling. Cough cough cough. Su Qing coughed again, and Lan Shi quickly poured water for Su Qing. Young master, are you okay? Lan Shi looked concerned. I've heard that Miss Lan Shi and General Su are close friends, and when I saw them today, their relationship was indeed good, the Grand Prince joked as he looked at them. The Great Prince is a wise man. Speaking like this will only embarrass Su Qing and will not make Prince Chen unhappy. I dare not climb up to General Su, please take it back. Lan Shi quickly knelt down, afraid of involving Su Qing. Her identity was really embarrassing. I never expected that General Tang would befriend the women in the brothel. General Su's taste is really unique, the 8th prince also learned to joke. Every life is worthy of respect, regardless of status or status. Everyone cannot choose their own background, so, 8th prince, you must be grateful that you have had a good pregnancy. Su Qing stood up and said, leaving everyone present speechless. General Su, he is truly unique, and I admire him. The Grand Prince felt a bit uneasy. Zijin, what you said is really good. Every life deserves respect. Good, good, Zijin has such a broad mind, and he is fortunate enough to win in the East. Nangong Chen was full of admiration in his eyes. He had never thought before, but today he saw that Su Qing was truly different. He couldn't help but take a few more glances at Su Qing. Cough cough cough. Thank you very much for your Highness Prince Chen's praise. Su Qing coughed for a while again, his face pale. Young master. Lan Shi was very grateful for Su Qinggang's maintenance, and the concern in her eyes was not deceiving. I'm fine, your highness. Su Qing wanted to bid farewell, but Prince Chen had already taken the lead in speaking. Zijin's health is not good. We have also heard the songs of the 2 princes and Miss Lan Shi. That's all for today. I will send the 2 princes back. Nangong Chen stood up and lightly patted Su Qing's shoulder, with a look of respect in his eyes. Previously, Prince Chen did not have much contact with Su Qing and did not know much about her. However, today's brief interaction has given him a different perspective on Su Qing. Thank you, Your Highness Prince Chen, for your hospitality. Tonight was a great evening. Let's bid farewell first, both of you. The eldest prince bowed to Su Qing in the national teacher, while the 8th prince, although disdainful, learned from his elder brother and bowed to Su Qing. Su Qing naturally bowed to bid farewell. When Su Qing saw off the 3 Prince Chen, he turned around and saw that Beiyingchuan was still staring at him. Master Gua, what's up? Su Qing frowned and asked. No problem, Beiyingchuan said proudly, completely free from the embarrassment of being caught. Su Qing glanced at her, didn't ask again, and turned to find Lan Shi. Lan Shi, you're also tired today. Take a break earlier. I'll leave first, and we'll talk again another day. Young master, you. Lan Shi hesitated and glanced at Beiyingchuan, her eyes flickering. Young master, won't you stay tonight? Su Qing didn't expect Lan Shi to suddenly persuade her to stay. Although the original owner had a good relationship with Lan Shi, she never stayed overnight. She knew her own situation, and besides, Lan Shi was also a performer, not a seller. They were just talking poetry and singing music together. Lan Shi, what's wrong with you? What's up? No, it's okay, just. I want the young master to stay. I can't do it today. I'll come see you another day. You can rest. Su Qing felt uncomfortable when she saw Lan Shi looking at her with such an urgent desire to save her, and besides, there was Beiyingchuan watching from the side. After leaving a sentence behind, she went downstairs in despair. Young master. Lan Shi still wanted to step forward, but was scared away by Beiyingchuan's gaze. Su Qing arrived downstairs and was about to get on the carriage when he saw Beiyingchuan also following him. Su Qing completely ignored it. She didn't think Beiyingchuan would do anything and got on the carriage directly. Inside, the kindred spirit had already lit the wind lamp, and Su Qing didn't like the darkness. But unexpectedly, as soon as Su Qing sat down, Beiyingchuan also followed in and sat across from Su Qing, familiar with him. Master Gua, what's up with you? No problem, I haven't brought a carriage with me. I remember that Lord Guosher never liked to ride a carriage, he was always riding a horse. I'm tired today and I want to take a carriage. I'll borrow Zijin's carriage for a while. Zijin doesn't mind, does he? Beiyingchuan looked at Su Qing with an evil charm. I said I have objections, can you get off the car? Su Qing was angry and laughed at the appearance of Beiyingchuan's scoundrel. In the original owner's impression, Beiyingchuan was not like this. Cannot. What other opinion can I have? Jin, let's go. Let's go back to the general's mansion first. I have no objection to this arrangement, right? Su Qing asked in response. Since she was riding a carriage, she had no obligation to send someone off first. No, Beiyingchuan did not make any unreasonable fuss. The carriage drove slowly because Su Qing's body was not good, so she walked very slowly and steadily. Inside the carriage, Su Qing didn't want to look at Beiyingchuan. Although he had a devilish face, she didn't want to look either. She closed her eyes slightly and leaned against the carriage, which was filled with the smell of lime, making it easy for people to relax. However, Beiyingchuan kept staring at Su Qing, observing her carefully and looking at her from top to bottom. Although Su Qing's body is not good, most men, who are already 17 years old, are not too short. However, Su Qing is a bit shorter than ordinary people. Although she is wrapped in a coat, her petite figure cannot be concealed, and she doesn't look like a man at all. Su Qing originally wanted to sleep for a while, but Beiyingchuan's gaze was too direct. She regretted lighting the candle a bit. Su Qing opened her eyes and looked at Beiyingchuan. Beiyingchuan, is it beautiful? It looks good, Beiyingchuan blurted out. Ah. Su Qing suddenly felt her cheeks heat up, and her teasing words made her blush first. Cough cough. Beiyingchuan coughed lightly. I feel that Zijin seems to be more feminine than ordinary men, and she is indeed good. Looking. Listening to Beiyingchuan's serious praise of himself, Su Qing was startled. Did he see something? Or is this product obsessed with Longyang? Your candle seems brighter than ordinary candles. Beiyingchuan awkwardly changed the topic. It's just adding something more, said a chemistry PhD. Su Qing reached out and wanted to flick the candlestick. He didn't want his finger cut while plucking the strings at Lan Shi's place to become clearer under the candlelight. Did you cut your finger? Beiyingchuan quickly grabbed it, his delicate hand being held by a large hand. Su Qing was stunned for a moment, wanting to pull it back but was powerless. Beiyingchuan, let go, Su Qing ordered with a cold face, but couldn't pull it back. What if I don't let go? Beiyingchuan didn't feel any discomfort at all, but instead kneaded it carefully. How could he have such soft hands? Beiyingchuan, that's enough of you. Even if you have a Longyang obsession, I won't laugh at you, but please don't take any chances on me. Su Qingzhen was very angry. With one force, he didn't expect Beiyingchuan to release his hand first. Due to inertia, Su Qingzhen's body collided heavily with the wooden board. Ah! Su Qing, who was in pain, almost shed tears. You. Chapter 9. Assassination. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Before Su Qing could curse, the carriage suddenly jolted and Su Qing ran towards the wooden board. After finishing, Su Qing closed her eyes but didn't expect to be pulled by Beiyingchuan and fell directly into his arms. Her face hit Beiyingchuan's chest heavily, causing her to feel so painful that she wanted to curse her mother directly. Bastard, let go of me. Don't move. As soon as the words fell, an arrow flew in and plunged directly into the wooden board above Su Qing's head. Young master, be careful, there are assassins. The sound of fighting came from outside the carriage. Now Su Qing is afraid. She has never experienced such a thing before. Beiyingchuan, do you want to harm me? You should know, killing the court's official is a capital offense. At this moment, Su Qing thought of Beiyingchuan's plan to harm himself. "Shut up," Beiyingchuan said with a black face. "You've thought too much. I'm going to kill you, and I won't make such a big noise. I didn't offend anyone, it's not you, who else?" Su Qing knew that the original owner had always been low-key and wouldn't offend anyone. However, Beiyingchuan was also right. With Beiyingchuan's means, if we really want to kill her, we don't need to make such a big noise, but quietly make ourselves disappear. "Ha, then tell me, how did you offend my seat? Do you insist that I personally kill you?" Beiyingchuan said, pinching Su Qing's neck, which was very thin. As long as he moved lightly, it could be twisted and broken. "I haven't done anything, I haven't done anything. I misunderstood, please calm down, national teacher." Su Qing quickly thought for a moment, realizing that the original owner and Beiying River did not intersect. It seemed that she had indeed made a mistake, so Su Qing decisively admitted her mistake. Joke, a person who is powerless and still relies on Beiyingchuan for help. "Oh, it's quite transparent." Beiyingchuan's evil charm smiled and put down his hand. "Don't move." Beiyingchuan thought Su Qing was going to get up, so he immediately pushed Su Qing back into his arms and blew out the candle. The carriage was pitch black, making the sound of fighting outside clearer. Su Qing couldn't help but tremble and tightly hugged Beiyingchuan's waist. "Beiyingchuan, did you bring in the assassin? She hasn't offended anyone, doesn't that mean Beiyingchuan doesn't have it? Has she been implicated? If that's really the case, she'll have to say it." "Shoo, don't talk." Beiyingchuan held Su Qing, and a faint fragrance filled his nostrils. The soft fragrance was in his arms, and Beiyingchuan's body, which had been silent for many years, trembled uncontrollably. This uncontrollable feeling made him very angry. "Beiyingchuan, don't you know martial arts?" Su Qing was just afraid at this moment, and she didn't understand why a man with high martial arts skills would tremble while holding him. Su Qing's voice was very soft, lying in Beiyingchuan's ear. Heat sprayed on Beiyingchuan's face and neck, causing him to feel hot all over. "Tell you not to speak," Beiyingchuan suddenly snapped, frightened Su Qing into silence, but couldn't help but show a look of grievance. In the pitch-black carriage, Su Qing couldn't see Beiyingchuan's face clearly, but Beiyingchuan could see it clearly. At this moment, Su Qing's face was full of grievances, like an injured kitten, making his heart itch. With a whoosh sound, another sharp arrow shot over, frightening Su Qing and quickly burying her head in Beiyingchuan's arms. "Don't be afraid," Beiyingchuan comforted. "With this seat here, I won't let you die here. If you want to die, you will die somewhere else." The following words were not spoken by Beiyingchuan, and it is estimated that someone will cry and show them. It's quite interesting to think about it, but Beiyingchuan suddenly burst out laughing. "Beiyingchuan, are you foolish? Can you still laugh?" Su Qing asked with a question on her face. "Humph, it's just a small trick. I'll take you out now." Su Qing wanted to say that he didn't want to go out, but before he could say anything, Beiyingchuan had already jumped up and flew out of the carriage holding Su Qing. "Ah! I don't want to come out," Su Qing cursed inwardly. "Beiyingchuan is unreliable. You can come out on your own. Why do you have to hold on to me?" However, before she could complain, the carriage had already been ignited by a large fireball thrown down. The carriage was instantly engulfed in flames, and the horse, due to being burned, let out a hiss and ran wildly. "Oh my God, this exciting life!" Before Su Qing could catch her breath, 4 or 5 people in black gathered around her. "Su Qing is there, kill him." "Mom," Su Qing was so scared that she didn't dare to speak up, just praying in her heart. Can't see me, who dares to sit here?" Beiyingchuan held Su Qing in one hand and stood on the roof not far away, the wind blowing hard. He thought the scene must be beautiful, but Su Qing's frightened soul flew away at this moment, his feet hanging in the air on someone's body. As long as he was unstable, he would fall and be shattered to pieces. Beiyingchuan felt Su Qing's unease and turned around, whispering in Su Qing's ear, "There won't be anything wrong." Su Qing trembled her lips and didn't say a word. She just wanted to roll her eyes and faint. "North. North. Beiyingchuan, can you hurry up?" Su Qing couldn't even cry at this moment, her hands trembling. "I can't hold on to it anymore." "Is it Beiyingchuan?" The black-clothed man below had already recognized Beiyingchuan's identity. "Quickly withdraw." The black-clothed man quickly fled. "Huh, not a single one can run away." Beiyingchuan raised his mouth slightly and flew down holding Su Qing. Then, with a big wave of his hand, Su Qing felt a force fly out. The person in black closest to them vomited blood and fell to the ground. The other people in black were also shaken back. Beiyingchuan brought Su Qing to the ground steadily. Although Su Qing couldn't see clearly, he was also stunned. Beiying River is really too strong. Besides Jin and Jihua, Su Qing also had 4 guards and 2 servants specially invited by his father. They had just fought for so long and did not touch the roots of those black-clothed men. On the other hand, several of them were covered in paint, and 1 servant died, indicating that the opponent's martial arts were also very high. However, with only 1 hand, Beiyingchuan opened up the situation and their martial arts were not on the same level. Beiyingchuan. The man in black covered his chest and looked at Beiyingchuan, his eyes full of unwillingness. "Knowing that I am here, I am not yet dying." Beiyingchuan waved hard and saw a flash of white light. "Beiyingchuan, stay alive." But it was too late, and several black-clothed people in front fell to the ground one after another. "Why did you kill all of them?" Su Qing was very unhappy and stepped forward to take a look. He had already vomited blood and died, with no survivors. "There are only a few people who want to kill you. What's there to investigate? Besides, these are all dead warriors. Even if you catch them alive, you won't be able to ask anything," said Beiyingchuan with a nonchalant gesture. "How do you know I can't ask?" Su Qing was very angry, but they just saved her, and besides, everyone was dead. No matter how angry she was, she had to swallow other words and ignore him. "Young master, the carriage cannot be used anymore. We have already notified the people from the general's mansion to come and pick it up. Young master, please wait a little longer." Jean then came over, injured. "You're injured, let's hurry back. For those who are seriously injured, don't move and send someone to invite the doctor over." Su Qing didn't want to stay, and at this moment, she was annoyed when she saw Beiyingchuan. "Young master, in case there are any more assassins." "No, let's go." Su Qing wrapped her coat tightly and walked forward alone. A few close friends had to follow behind, and as she walked, she didn't forget to bow and thank Beiyingchuan. These black-clad people are very strong. If it weren't for the accident of Beiyingchuan, they wouldn't have been injured so easily today. Beiyingchuan looked at Su Qing's departing figure without speaking. Chapter 10. Uncertain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Late at night, Beiyingchuan returned to the mansion, where 2 people were already waiting. When Beiyingchuan returned, he stood up to greet him. "Boyan, did you take action today?" The man in green joked. Beiyingchuan glanced at the man in blue and did not speak. "Qingshu, Boyan's clothes are all wrinkled. Is that still a question?" The man in black smiled and said. "Have you been too idle lately?" Beiyingchuan raised his eyes and sat in front of the table with his hands superimposed. No, we're very busy." The man in black didn't dare to tease and quickly sat down. "Boyan, everything in the palace has been arranged properly, and everything is fine with the young master. You can rest assured." The man in green clothes, Qingshu, said. "The situation on my side is also going smoothly, and the former general is willing to surrender." The man in black also became serious. "Well, I know now, but those people betrayed us before, so we have to guard against them and arrange for them to get in as soon as possible. Yes, I have already started doing it. Beiyingchuan didn't speak anymore, but leaned back on the chair, pinching his brow, unsure of what he was thinking. The room is very quiet. Boyan, what happened to today's assassination? Who would have wanted Su Qing's life? As far as they know, Su Qing has always been low-key, always meticulous in his actions, and has no enemies. If their secrets were not known by Su Qing, they would not have sent someone to kill him. I don't know, they are all dead warriors, but I speculate that they may be Dongi people. The gunpowder made by Su Qing is very effective in restraining Dongi weapons. I think they can't sit still. Beiyingchuan played with the trigger in his hand. Su Qing is actually a talented person, but it's a pity. Being targeted by Dongi people is not a good thing, but it's also a good thing. He helped himself solve the problem. There's no way, who let him have bad luck, but he hit our knife edge, the man in black sneered. Shadow, in fact, if Su Qing could join our camp, it would be easier for us. What you said is light and unpredictable, we can't take that risk. The Shadow also understood, but after all, that matter was too significant for anyone to gamble on. Boyan, today is such a great opportunity. If it weren't for you taking action, Su Qing might have died and saved us a lot of trouble. Shadow was puzzled. Are you doubting our decision? Beiyingchuan's face sank. No, it's just that I don't quite understand, Shadow quickly stood up and said. Although they usually act like friends, Shadow knows his identity. You don't need to understand, just do your own thing well. Yes, I will investigate now. There's no need to worry about this matter. The Emperor will send someone to investigate. You go check Lan Shi in Qingfeng Tower. I always feel like she knows something. Lan Shi. Alright, I'll go now, said the Shadow, turning around and leaving. Boyan, have you discovered something? Qing Shu thought more than Shadow, and Beiyingchuan was not a kind-hearted person. Qing Shu, I think Su Qing. He doesn't know our secret. It wasn't until Shadow left that Beiyingchuan expressed his thoughts. It's not that he doesn't trust the Shadow, it's just that his head is really not suitable for thinking. No, what our people saw at that time was Su Qing, and he probably heard something, otherwise he wouldn't have left in such a hurry. Qing Shu also felt strange. In theory, if Su Qing knew that secret so long ago, how could he not report it to the court? If the Emperor found out, he would definitely reward the Su family heavily, and perhaps even grant him the title of Marquis. Perhaps he has other plans. Qing Shu couldn't have imagined too much. Even if he were killed, he wouldn't have thought of traveling through such a thing. Perhaps he forgot. It's also possible that he almost died, isn't it? If that's the case, Su Qing is still a hidden danger. Boyan, we can't be soft-hearted. Qing Shu made a killing gesture. Qing Shu is a scholar, seemingly weak and harmless, but still ruthless. I know, I will observe again. If he moves, I will definitely kill him with my own hands. Well, who should investigate this matter today? The Cloud King has been low-key for a long time, asking people to give advice to the Emperor. Okay, I'll take care of it now, Qing Shu chuckled with a mournful expression. Su Qing walked all the way back to the general's mansion. The Jingzhou mansion had already sent someone over, and Su Qing didn't have the energy to manage so much anymore. When he left, he didn't feel much, but when he arrived at home, he fell ill. When Su Qing saw his precious son being assassinated on the street, he was so angry that he went to the emperor to cry and complain. In the end, what promise the emperor made was unknown to Su Qing. Anyway, this matter was later handed over to King Yun. Su Qing lay in the room for several more days due to this illness, and when she regained some energy, she went to her laboratory to start tinkering with things. Coming into this world, Su Qing has received such a weak chicken body, always lacking a sense of security. She dares to assassinate in broad daylight, which is not found in modern civilized society. It is better to rely on oneself than on others. She also needs to prepare some self-defense weapons for herself. Su Qing was still studying self-defense weapons in the room, and Jean hurriedly ran over. "Young master, the Cloud King is here. The master asked you to go and greet him quickly." Cloud King. Su Qing was a bit surprised. He had no contact with Cloud King Su, so why did Cloud King suddenly visit? When it comes to King Yun, we need to talk about the history of Dongsheng. This Dongsheng is not recorded in our history, because after the death of Empress Wu Zetian, the Tang dynasty returned to the hands of the Li surname, and history began to change from here. Wu Zetian changed the country's name to Zhou, and after her death, she passed the throne to her nephew. The historical records here clearly record that in the year of the Great Weekend, the imperial court was corrupt and various local forces rose up. At this time, the Nangong family, together with the Bailey family and the Shao family, overthrew the Wu dynasty and divided it into 3 kingdoms. At that time, the Nangong family was the most powerful, occupying most of the land on the southeast sides and establishing Dongsheng. The Bailey family moved to the west and established the country as Xichang. The Shao family was located in the south by the sea, with the smallest land known as Nanjiao. After just a few years of establishing Dongsheng, the old emperor died. The current emperor, Nangong Yunting, has mediocre qualifications. In fact, if it weren't for the deaths of his excellent sons in the past, it wouldn't have been his turn to become the emperor. Fortunately, with the foundation laid by the old emperor back then, the national treasury was full, and even in battle, it did not harm the foundation of Dongsheng. In recent years, the situation has improved and there have been many fewer wars. However, at this moment, Nangong Yunting has a heart disease, which is the Cloud King. Nangong Yunze is the youngest brother of Nangong Yunting and also the youngest son favored by the old emperor. At that time, the old emperor also thought about deposing the crown prince's position and passing the throne to the Yun king. However, because he was too old and several princes fought fiercely, the old emperor's heart was exhausted and he died before he could complete it. But when the old emperor died, he left behind an elite army and a good fiefdom for the Cloud King, and even the emperor could not intervene. At that time, Yun Wang was still young and the new emperor's accession to the throne was unstable. Coupled with external threats, the emperor did not care about Yun Wang. After calming down the external threats and stabilizing the court, he realized that Yun Wang had grown up. Not only had he incorporated his own army, but he also established his reputation in the army, becoming the invincible god of war in the hearts of the people. This made Nangong Yunting feel a crisis. Nowadays, the conflict between the emperor and the Cloud King has become a well-known secret, and there are also supporters of the Cloud King in the court. However, anyone can turn to the Cloud King, except for the Su family, because Su Qing is from a humble family. He once achieved the highest martial arts championship in high school and was promoted by the emperor all the way, which led to the position of general and hereditary honors. So the Su family has never had an intersection with the Yun king, and Su Qing's impression of the Yun king only stays on the 4 beautiful men.